believe, well, I hope that there will be a re-looking at not necessarily the Industrial Relations Act, but they're re-looking at different legislations as it relates to the world of work. One of the things that concern me is the vulnerabilities. After COVID, there are lots of sectors in this country and throughout the world globally which are vulnerable. You have women who are vulnerable. We have migrant laborers. You have persons with disabilities. You have seasonal workers. We have a number of persons worldwide who will be vulnerable and be impacted after COVID. There will be, and I'm speaking globally now, a need to look to see how to treat with persons and vulnerabilities in sectors moving forward. Whether you treat with it by legislation, whether the ILO comes up with conventions or reminds you of its conventions, and that is with respect to vulnerable groups. Also, the way we do work is going to change. Right now, in my view, that the informal economy is being lost in the COVID because they would have their own challenges which are not recognized or even seen. So some in the formal economy are going to go into the informal economy. And then we have women who are currently taking the brunt, in my view, of COVID because most of them have to be sitting with children, looking after children and working. And in some cases, the work does not make arrangements and provide for that. So you have that added burden on certain sectors of the community, women, persons with disabilities. How do they work with a pandemic? After the pandemic, how are they treated? All of those, to me, are concerns after the pandemic. But one of the real concerns as it relates to the world of work would be retooling, reskilling, because the modalities of work, whether we like it or not, will change. I was given some thought to, and I'm doing this in the global context because I was having a meeting with some persons from the ILO, and one of the things I said to them, the big offices that you know in Manhattan and we do in the UN and all of that, some of them may not exist. Because if the working from home becomes comfortable and it is developed, in some instances, you may not need to have many offices spread over a large country. So all of those things will impact because there's somebody who owns the building. It will impact on him, whether the person. Another thing is, we will have to check to see whether, how important is socializing in that context. How does that affect and this is occupational health and safety I'm talking about now. Because in occupational health and safety, you deal with the physical, but you also deal with the emotional and the mental. I happen to be one of the occupational health and safety experts in the ILO and maritime expert. But I'm saying, how does working 8 hours a day, sometimes 10 hours a day or 12 hours a day in front of a computer, sitting every day, how does that impact? The studies could only be developed 5 years from now or 10 years from now. Or is socializing in the workplace important? Is socializing in the workplace important for students? Is socializing in the workplace important for adult workers? All of those things have to be considered, and I am saying globally, and I'm saying in our context in the Caribbean, should be considered going forward.